4 cells led into a couple more cells just because they saw the review and what I've done. And then I go there and I'm helping clean up the house, or I also host a garage sale for them. So I take that content and say, this is what I'm doing for my sweet sellers. I brought my sweet sellers pizza for their last night here. Please wish them a farewell as they make their way down to Southern California. Now I got 7,000 views because people can view it and you can see who's looking at it.
Welcome to the Raquel Show. This show is for entrepreneurs who want to play bigger in business or in life. And as we move into a world where people want to be part of something, people want to be part of community, what better way than to have a conversation with my guest today? She builds communities, she hosts events, and her business continues to thrive. And I met her through social media first, and then she came to our Play Bigger event in Scottsdale. And today we're going to talk all things community. We're going to talk all things, even using Nextdoor, digital farming, and how to build a business around that. Welcome to the show, and I'm so honored to have you, JoEllen Brooks.
Thank you for that.
Oh
Thank
my
you for
God.
having me. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you and share with all of your subscribers and people that follow you, everyone that's in your network, because it's amazing.
It's amazing to have you on the show. And first things first, because we're going to dive right into it, is when did you know that you actually wanted to build a business around community?
When I went to my very first Women's Play Bigger event in September of 2022, your event is
That's
what,
when you knew you were saying like, okay, I'm
yeah.
walking away from this event. I want to build something around community.
And like you say, don't leave this event without implementing and taking action. And I did it. And right after that event in September, in a brand new market, I had only been in our area around April, so it was like a few months. I went home and just looked at what's going to be my first event. I ended up hosting 12 events, all tied to a charity within that first year that I met you.
Wow, this is what you talk about with people when you go to events. Like it's one thing to learn, but this is what separates people from the average than to the people that are actually top performers in all industries, not just real estate, is that they take action. They actually implement and execute. So I want to hear about your different events. You use a service that some of us may or may not know. So I also want to talk about Nextdoor because you've been known for using Nextdoor to build your business. So walk us through that path or that journey, JoEllen, of like how you took events, how you got introduced to Nextdoor, and how you use it today for your business.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to share that. And so when I got back home in September, I had my first event, which was a food drive in October. And I went down to the local food drive, got a big old bin, placed it in front of my house. But let me back up really quick. So I was like, how am I going to get business in this brand new market that I know nobody? I laid on the floor, closed my eyes, and I said, how am I going to do it? And then I said, oh, the Nextdoor app. The Nextdoor app is where it's basically neighborhood based, but you can follow people all over the world. Okay. So I said, okay, I'm going to post on the Nextdoor app. I'm going to go get a food bin from the food distributing company to collect canned goods. I posted on the Nextdoor app, hi neighbors, I am hosting a food drive. If you would like to contribute, please, here's my address or I can pick up food. That was my very first one. That was a success. Once I took all the food down to the food bank, I then took a picture, posted the content back on Nextdoor, and I said, thank you, community. Look what we have done here. This is how much pounds of food we have raised. So now people are engaging with me, following me. And then the next event was, so all of the events again were tied to a charity, whether it was seniors, CASA for kids, it was all different ones.
How did you pick your charities before you get into
Um,
like tactics and strategies?
So I love seniors, so I knew I wanted to do something for seniors. And then the community was a wider, diverse group of people, right? So it wasn't just children or seniors. So that's why I picked that for the community. And then CASA, I'm a big advocate for children. Do you know what CASA is? It's quite important. Service advocates for children who are going through the foster system in each county, and they have an advocate. I'm called a CASA, friend of CASA. So
Mhm.
I'm a big supporter of them. And then I went to a local assisted living community. I said to the sales director, I would love to throw you an event. You handle the guest list and I'll handle the venue. When I moved here, I went and signed up. I joined a couple wineries because I knew that was the least expensive that could hold the most people. So I did
Mhm.
that as well. So I had that event, which was a great turnout, and it was Bring a Blanket for a Senior. And then all of this, everything I'm doing, and I also do it with a vendor partner like a loan officer or a home warranty, because then that actually gets them in front of people too. And so we can win together.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and then so we had that event, and I just kept continuing on throughout the year. And it was 12 events, 12 charities, posting on Nextdoor, taking all the content. And now I have a following on Nextdoor, and about 10 to 12,000 people see my posts on Nextdoor.
And this is all in the community of where are you located?
Yeah, where I live in Cameron Park. So like El Dorado Hills area.
Which is a really nice area. I always tell people that if I was ever to move back to California, I'd probably move to El Dorado Hills.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So I
And
started,
and so how did that transition to you actually getting business, right? You doing community events, you can't really advertise
right.
on Nextdoor. So I know that you've got some pretty neat strategies of how you've actually leveraged it.
Yeah, so I spent late nights up doing what I do, which is research, a lot of research. So I went into, I dug as far as I could on Nextdoor, like the data, how are they selling the ads to the realtors to pay for this? What does that look like? Following their Facebooks and hearing all the comments that, are negative, and what can I do to turn that around, and how to be careful so I don't get flagged or shut down.
Mhm.
And what I found was that I built myself as a community leader first. So the neighborhood got to know me as a neighbor and not a
Mhm.
realtor. I didn't have to say I was a realtor, because
Right.
once they went to my profile, it says who I am, where I live, and that I'm a realtor, a mom, all of the things that I like to share. And I would say probably about 6 months later was when I first asked for the business. And what I said was, I posted a little post that said, has anybody heard of a rumor of anybody looking to sell in the neighborhood? I have a sweet family looking to move here. And that
So that is okay. You can actually post that.
I posted that, and I ended up getting into 8 expired doors, and one was a come list me. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Now, I've talked to people who have built businesses, and they said what you did was you came, like you said, as a community builder first, not a realtor. So you were more accepted and you weren't bashed on. I
Yeah.
didn't give people the opportunity to try and tear me down. I've been flagged a couple times, and I had somebody make a snark comment, and another neighbor stuck up for me and said, if they don't like it, they could keep scrolling. Thank you for letting us know about that new senior community in the neighborhood. So I really built a
Wow.
community.
Wow. So that's when you know. They say when you've got community is if somebody was to say something snarky or somebody was to troll on your Instagram or wherever it is, you would have a slew of people, you would have a tribe of people that would back you up. And that's exactly what happened. So let's talk about flags. What like should you not do since you brought it up
So
that
flag,
will flag you on
like
next?
self-promoting, this is my new listing. Would you like to come to my open house? Or I'm the local realtor. Just any kind of self-promoting marketing. Now, I do get all of my listings on there because I say something like, I love the beautiful area of Shingle Springs. I love this beautiful neighborhood. And then they can't take it down because I'm sharing about the community.
So knowing what you know today, right? Let's give, if you're listening to this on the podcast or you're watching this on YouTube, knowing what you know today, what would be 3 things an agent should do to get started in really capitalizing or leveraging Nextdoor for their business?
3 things: create a profile, a personal page. Make sure on the personal page you're putting that you live there. You can also put if you're a mom or a dog mom, or if you like oysters, whatever it may be, something fun about you and that you're a realtor. You don't have to put what brokerage you're in or anything like that. That's for your business page that you can create for free. So I now have a business page too, but I can talk about that as well.
Yeah, talk about it.
Um,
Yeah.
so that's the first thing. The second thing would be just to go on there and maybe give a recommendation for a local restaurant, a painter that you used, anyone that you recently used, leave a recommendation on them because people love to get recommendations and referrals. And Nextdoor is actually a big platform for that, for local businesses.
Hmm.
And then number three would be whatever you're already doing as far as like an event or something like that, post it in there so that they can see what you're doing.
Okay. So you did 12 events. What would you say your first year after like you came back from, or like your after you came back from the event, you said you did 12 events. What have you found to be, and you're a community builder, what have you found to be some of the most successful events that you could look back on that you're like, for sure, Raquel, if you were going to start this and you were going to do events, these are the events that I thought were the most successful out of all of them.
Definitely a charity drive, whether it's a purse drive or a sock drive or a food drive, that would be number one. I also now it's been 2 years and I've had a little over 20 something events. Now I do quarterly, I do educational events. So the fire situation with insurance is big here in El Dorado County.
Mhm.
So I hosted an event on fire insurance and I brought in Fortress and then I invited the neighborhood, which was huge because I think I had over 25 people there. But what was really interesting is I had somebody from Serrano, a big gated community here, who they were on their HOA fire board, and they asked me to come bring my team now to go speak to Serrano. So it's like those educational events are considered an event, and those are huge. It could also be I do a declutter downsizing event. Now these are for the clients that want to declutter and downsize in spring. We've done that. That's a big one, and a donation drive where you team up with maybe one of your movers or junk haulers and
Mhm.
you hold it in one of your favorite shops at one of the shopping centers, and then you get one of your favorite local businesses involved. So I think those are really successful.
Okay, and then let's talk about your business page because you said first set up a profile, now set up a business page with Nextdoor. What should they have? What should they not have? Any tips there?
Yeah, on your business page, that's where you can include your brokerage, your license. I also take client testimonials from all my other platforms like Zillow, and I put them in there. Listing videos, welcome home parties, all of the things that you're doing in the neighborhood that you want on your business, you can do that.
Oh, okay. And then do you actually farm the area or because you've talked about door knocking, what does that look like?
This is all considered farming, right?
Digital. So this is like your digital farm.
Yes, so I'm hyper local on this platform that it is a digital farm. Most importantly, what I would say right now that I have found to be really successful. So once I sell a property to a client, they then go on and leave me a recommendation on their personal page and they get tons of engagement. And then I go in and I connect with every person that's hearted it or left a comment. Okay,
Okay.
so you want to engage like Instagram too, just
Right.
use personal talk. So four cells led into a couple more cells just because they saw the review and what I've done. And then I go there and I'm helping clean up the house, or I also host a garage sale for them. So I take that content and say, this is what I'm doing for my sweet sellers. I brought my sweet sellers pizza for their last night here. Please wish them a farewell as they make their way down to Southern California. Now I got 7,000 views because people can view it and you can see who's looking at it. And I live in a
You
town.
actually can see who's looking at it.
You basically can see it'll say 1.4 thousand people viewed this post.
Right.
I really can't see who they are, but I can see
Like it's getting engagement. This is
engagement.
what the community likes.
Yeah, this is what the
It's
community
giving you
likes.
data. Yeah.
Yeah, it's data. So I can tell you, I know I did postcards when I first moved here for a year, and I think I got about one or two clicks, but I didn't know how many people actually saw it, threw it away, or what, right? So I have come up with dropping a home evaluation link. I'm sure everybody knows what that is. It's like a link that says what's your home evaluation, and then it
Yeah.
goes into your CRM. So I
Yeah.
posted this fun thing on Nextdoor, like something about my handy dandy tool. If you want to see what your home is worth, check it out. And then also please
Is
leave
it
me.
like a home bot or one of
Yeah,
those?
like Real
Okay.
Scout,
Real Scout.
HomeBot,
Yep.
or KV Core. Let me know what you think. And is this tool even accurate? Is this what you thought your home was worth? When I did that, I woke up and I had 11 CMA requests and it was 2.4 thousand views. When I did that postcard, nobody clicked on and said they wanted a CMA report. I was like, and I paid $300 a month for those cards. This is free. I was
This is
like all
awesome.
day excited, jumping up and down, telling my husband, "Oh my gosh, I found something new. Look at this. It's so cool." Because I was so excited.
Yeah.
11 people raised their hands. This was last November. One was a come list me, $900,000 in El Dorado Hills.
Shout out to JoEllen. And I know the agents that are listening are like, wow, what would it look like? What would life look like if I woke up every day where there was a couple people that wanted to sell their house and it was like, JoEllen, just come over and list me right now.
Yeah. If anybody wants to DM me and ask me, how did I do it? What did I say? Please let me know because I can do that because I do have, what I say. Can I drop it off or you want me to email it? Some aren't ready yet, but my DMs are like, my DMs on Nextdoor are my DMs. I'm not big on Instagram with getting any DMs, but I still put content out there. But
Yeah,
my people were the people that lived right here in my area.
that is so cool.
So so that's farming. That's
Yep.
farming. Another part of farming is I will get a farm list from my title company. 30 plus years, no mortgage, has stairs. I make a CMA packet for them and I go and drop it off. But what I do before that is I go into Nextdoor, pull up their name, and if they're on Nextdoor, I connect with them. So now they know
Mm,
who I am. When I show up at their door, oh, you're Joelle, you're.
that's neat.
Sure. So that right there is the secret sauce to farming. That CMA link and then connecting with them before you show up to their door.
And then community events.
Community events, yeah.
What's an
Like,
event that you like tried out and you're like, I won't do that one again? Has there been any?
no,
Yeah. And then
no.
how do you like organize this? Because some of the people that are solo agents are going, wow, this could be a lot of work. Do you have like VAs that help you? Do you have a team? Do you have, ambassadors in the neighborhood that kind of help you put these events together?
I actually look to small businesses. So like one lady I know, she has a nutrition drink shop that she makes drinks and stuff. And I had went to her because I knew Casa was needed some event space. So I was like, hey, would you mind if I had an event here? And so I'm utilizing local small shops and building connections with them. And what they love about that is now I'm connecting them to other businesses that can help them. So again, I have the mindset of not how am I going to do it, but who am I going to do it with.
Collaborations. I love
Yeah,
that.
and then you can't be scared to ask. You just have to have an idea and know that those people want the people that you're going to bring in too because they want exposure and it's free marketing and they're building community themselves.
Now, do you use Facebook groups at all? Do you get into El Dorado Hills like Facebook groups to find people or add people? I'm just curious because this is an app, but is there another like social media component, especially like I know some people have like neighborhood like Facebook groups.
Yeah, I did create my own neighborhood Facebook group like through a kid's site where to like let it go, pay it forward.
Mm.
But I really don't go in and post in too much stuff into those because those are typically already created by a realtor
Realtor.
or
Hmm.
someone. But what was interesting, somebody was looking for a realtor in the El Dorado Hills area, and one of my next door followers popped my name into that group. And I was like, what? I'm like, I don't know this person. Then I went on Nextdoor. I'm like, oh, we're connected on Nextdoor.
That's awesome.
And then a couple funny things that I can share is so I have this thing called hashtag Nextdoor famous. That's my little thing because we went to a party one night with my husband's boss's house and I walked in and she goes, Joellen, I saw you on Nextdoor. She's like, and I had to screenshot it and send it to Emily. And I winked at my husband. I was like, hashtag Nextdoor famous. And he was like, oh my gosh. At first he was like, Joellen, what are you doing? I said, no, this is how I'm going to be able to be known, liked, and trusted. and I'm doing good things. And he absolutely loves it now. I went to a restaurant one night and this family was leaving, and the gentleman goes, "Are you JoEllen Brooks?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "From Nextdoor?" And I was like, "Yes, that's me." He's all, "I just want to thank you for all of the work that you've done in the community." And then he looked
That's
to his
awesome.
wife and he goes, "She's our local realtor." I was
You
like,
know,
winning. I'm like,
that
that's
is so awesome. See, what I love about your story is how you discovered an app and leveraged it to really build community, but you were always very heart-centered leader, driven by community. And they say like sometimes there's a lot of coaches out there and there's a lot of people that teach how to be like a mayor within social media, within Instagram, right? You actually take it a step further and go follow them in your neighborhood. You got the data of who lives
hmm
in your area. So
yeah,
it's like you become hyper local, whereas people spend even ad spend just to get hyper local famous.
I
And
know.
you got
That's
next
why
door famous.
yes, and that's why I'm so honored and blessed to be able to share what I've built because I built the blueprint on it. I know it in and out. And energy goes where focus flows. I can just
Mhm.
say, okay, what are you going to do now next door? And then I'll get a call. Oh, I saw you
Mm.
on next door. I was at the gas station. One guy was like, "Ma'am." And I'm like, I look back, I'm like, "Yeah." He's, "Can I have your card?" I'm like, "My card." I'm like, he's all, "Yeah, we see you're the next door lady. Me and my brother, my mom wants to sell her house." And he gave me her address, everything. I was just
Oh my gosh, this
like,
is awesome. Now,
yeah,
do you have a cadence or a routine that you do of, okay, Raquel, on Mondays I do this with Nextdoor. I always go in the app every single day. It's almost as if I'm like opening up a store, a boutique shop every single, and that's my opening and closing, right? If I opened up Starbucks, like that's I do this every single morning. Is there anything that you do like cadence wise or routine wise with Nextdoor?
I
Do you have it
do
all
go.
planned out?
Yeah, I do go on Nextdoor every day. I don't plan it out because I'm very intentional with what I'm feeling that I need to post. So I don't pre-plan any posts. I believe I'm planting an authentic seed of whatever I need to post today, or if I need to ask for a referral, or I'll go in and scroll to see who needs something. If
Okay.
someone's movie
So you
boxes.
do have a routine. It's
Yeah,
either I am going to post something, I'm
yeah,
going to see who needs my help today.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, you do actually have
Yeah,
something.
I might not do it every day, but I do it probably, I might skip maybe 1 or 2 days. So it is, yeah.
So like how some people like prospect or some people shoot and batch content, you actually like with what you just said, like that's a routine,
Yeah.
right? Like first I'm going to post something, I'm going to see who needs my help, and then maybe I'll post something about an event that I'm about to do,
hmm hmm
you know? Are there any upcoming events that you're excited about?
Oh my goodness. Yes. So I have a new event next week, August 20th, and this is a new listing that's going live in a beautiful area overlooking the lake and the river. And
And did you get this one from next door too?
actually, this is a partner agent from
Okay.
down south, yeah, or down in Monterey. So this is a referral, but I was like, this is what we can do. We're gonna have this amazing event. We're gonna invite all the realtors. We're gonna do a listing video shoot, and we also have 6 speakers that are gonna be speaking and pouring into the realtors. So
So neat. Okay. You are a senior specialist, and you've talked about how you love giving back to the active adult communities, what we call them here. Is what role does community involvement, such as like your participation? I saw that like you did a walk to end Alzheimer's, right? Or play in your like farming strategy or your community strategy. How does that impact your brand and your client relationships?
it's huge, actually. So I was a sales director for a non-medical home care company. So I would get in the homes and sell care packages to families. So I do have an upper advantage that when I walk into a house of a senior, I can see if it's safe or if I can just recommend home
Mm.
modifications for them or a reverse mortgage if they need to stay in the home. But so that's why the seniors are my niche. And all of my listings are pretty much seniors. That's how I become heavily in the on the listing side. I would say the demographics mainly they're like 65 or older, so
Mhm.
it is my demographics. But just know young people are on it now. I think it's the third most used platform right now that's growing is Nextdoor.
No way.
So it's
No
great.
way.
Yeah. I have the data. I'd have to look it up, but because I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's
That's awesome. Had no idea. Like I heard about it years ago when it first launched, and people would put it in certain real estate conferences would talk about it. Like you have to all get on Nextdoor, but then like it went away. And the only person that I knew that kept talking about Nextdoor was JoEllen. So I was like, I need to reach out to her.
yeah. So I guess if you, so with the senior, with that being my niche, I think just having that background does help and it makes them feel comfortable, I think. But
Yeah.
anybody can do it. These are where our listings are right now. These are the people that are selling the homes. And to tell you the truth, they don't like to get on the phone and schedule movers. And those are pain points for them. So if you can just be there, bring in all your resources at one time or schedule it out, that's going to be huge value to them.
Yeah. And then you also talk about like probate, right? What advice, and you help also specialize in that, right? I feel that even after this like conversation or having this conversation with you is like you really love community, the seniors, right? And now probate. Like these are hard transitions, big transitions in their lives.
The
And what was that?
seniors and children are my two,
Right.
yeah, people I love, my organizations that I love to support.
So, what advice would you give to those that want to go into this niche that you have learned in your journey?
Yeah. I remember one family, they had just lost his son in a motorcycle accident. And they called me, and his parents were in their 80s, their late 80s. So they're my senior clients who have just lost their son to a motorcycle accident. And you have to be really compassionate, empathetic. You might have to cry with them. I mean, I know I do. And they just need to know that you're there for them. You know how to handle it, speaking with the lawyers, making sure the paperwork is correct. Don't be scared to talk to the lawyer and ask for some questions or their guidance of how they might want it written up because they have a big part in it. But for the most part, just know that these families just lost somebody. I mean, they may have just inherited a house, but they don't even like their father that died.
Hmm.
You got to be really careful in how you lead with being supportive and sensitive, but at the same time, not scared to take this on because you may feel scared.
Yeah. Is there anything else? You bring up a really good point. And again, it's always just like divorces, right? It's a very sensitive topic. Probate is a very sensitive topic. When people are downsizing and they've lived in their home for so long, especially in that different generation, like with my mom and my dad, I think about them. If they were to ever move, like, my mom's a hoarder. So it's like some of that stuff is very sensitive because it's so sentimental because of the times that they grew up in with the wars and stuff. And so you have to be empathetic, you have to be compassionate. When it comes to our agents that are listening, any advice, anything else that we didn't cover today? I know I asked you a ton of questions. Anything that you would want to leave them with?
I would say just get on the Nextdoor app right now because people need us. And like I said, they look to the Nextdoor app for resources, plumbers, movers, painters. They're looking for you, realtors. You
Yay.
need to know it.
I love it. So take action, just like JoEllen took action. You got this far to listening to this podcast. You might as well at least build your profile and take action. So, what's next for JoEllen? What are you most excited about? I know you talked about your next event. Anything else that you're working on?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to build my play bigger for open houses and how I'm going to lock in those appointments.
Yay. I love it. Okay. And as we wrap up, there's always one question that I ask every guest on the show is what does Joellen do to play bigger in business or in life?
Not about how, it's about who.
Yes,
Like that's huge to me,
that is.
and then create a networking group. I have my own networking group now. So just don't be scared.
Just do
Just
it.
do it.
Thank you so much for being on their show today. I super appreciate you. And I love that I got to meet you in person. And I always tell people you can meet people digitally, you can connect with people on social media, but when you go to live events, they do change lives. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you in
You
taking
changed my
action.
life. That event, they have to go to the Play Bigger event. Seriously, I will never miss one.
We would love to have you. And we've got some things in store for the rest of the year as well as next year. So we cannot wait to see more of JoEllen. And who knows, we might have a surprise for all of you that are listening. Thank you so much, my friend. I want to keep supporting you in playing bigger. You are always and will be a part of our community.
Thank you so much.